It really is amazing how much just two work sets can radically transform your workout to be simpler, easier, more efficient, and a lot more effective at transforming your physique. Greetings, my friend. Matt Chifferly back again. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. And today is an update video on my two-set training strategy, which is the pack-in program for my new upcoming program, Beautiful Strength, on how to use calisthenics to look your best, feel your best, and live a much stronger, more attractive life. And the whole idea behind the two-set strategy is that you limit yourself to two working sets per exercise. I won't get too much into the details on how it works and stuff. I covered that already in a video in the podcast. I'll put links down below in the description if you want to check that out to know how to implement it. But now I'm updating you. I've been using this strategy for myself and my clients for several months now and learned some really interesting benefits from it. But first and foremost, the little change that I've made is a branding kind of thing. Because ultimately, everything in fitness is just putting a different label on the same old ideas, and this is no different from that. But the whole idea of two-set strategy, workout training just doesn't roll off the tongue until a client of mine said it's like we're taking a double tap approach to the muscles. Like, boom, there we go. So from here on out, we're referring to this as double tap training, because that's essentially what you're doing, is you're hitting the muscle, 1, 2, and you're done. And you're walking away confident that you got the job done. Some of the most interesting benefits from double tap training is the psychological and even emotional aspect of things. Because as I alluded to in the first video where I started implementing this, is the idea behind it is that you create this pressure on yourself to really dig deep when you're doing each set and focusing to a much higher level. Because if you have a lot of endless volume or even an open-ended approach to your training, which I've long advocated, where you just keep doing more work, you're kind of kicking the can down the road potentially, where you're pushing yourself and working on technique to a fairly decent effort. But at the same time, you could be like, that's good enough. I'll get it on the next set. That's good enough. I'll get it on the next set. So you may not really push yourself all that hard in any given set. So you end up doing a lot of volume with kind of lukewarm intensity and focus. But when you have only two sets, you've kind of like I've only got two chances to make something happen. So you can't just put in a half-hearted effort into that first set, and especially not the second set, because no, you don't get any more chances. You have to have the discipline to say, you're done. After two sets, you're finished. And honestly, if you can't get it really dialed in two sets, well, maybe you just don't have the focus or the motivation that day to make it work. So it saves you from a lot of that lukewarm junk volume that may not really do much for you. But at the same time, while the double tap training puts on that pressure to get things dialed in and really push yourself, it also relieves a lot of pressure because you don't have to go into the gym thinking, oh, I've got all of this volume I've got to slog through, or I've got endless amount of reps and sets, and you're just kind of going through the motions, waiting until you just get tired or until you've worked out for a certain amount of time. It relieves you from that feeling like you've just got to keep going and going and going until you get tired. And so you say, well, I've only got two I need to do. And after that, I'm done. So I don't need to worry about slogging through all that stuff. The second big benefit is how the double tap training is that beautiful blend of structured flexibility that I've long advocated for here at RDP. Because on one hand, we want our training to be structured so it can be disciplined and keep us moving forward towards the goals that you want to accomplish. That way you stay on track and you're not just endlessly wandering around with random programming and exercise. But at the same time, flexibility and adaptation is very important, as I've talked about in several of my books, because you never train the same body twice. And you never have the same resources twice. Every time you go into your workout, you've got different amounts of maybe time, energy, focus, motivation. So having a very static, strict, rigid, dogmatic approach to training is kind of like insisting you're only going to drive your car one speed no matter what your conditions are. And double tap training gives you structure so that way you stay on track, particularly with the beautiful strength programming for the exercises in the system, where you've got your core 3, and then you got your outer ring 3, and then you've got your supplemental exercises, and then you've got your support chains, your flexion, extension, and lateral. So That keeps you on track for what exercises you do and what ones you prioritize. But at the same time, it gives you complete freedom to select which exercises you want. So it could be the core three of dips, pull-ups, and lunges. And then if you're like, I want more exercises, okay, then you got your single arm rows, your dive bomber pike push-ups, and then your jump squats. Well, I want more than that. Okay, then you can bicep curls and chest flies. So you have the ability to expand your workout as much as you like, so you keep hitting the muscles more and more if you want, still with 2 sets per exercise. But at the same time, if you just want to keep things real short and condensed into a micro workout, you can hit a round of single arm rows and some bicep curls and be done with it in 4 sets. And then one of the other big benefits that I'm experiencing for myself, but also for my clients with double tap training, is the ability to easily record, track, and assess workouts so I know how to make progress forward. Because as I've long had my adaptive training log that I've used for all my clients for well over 15 years now, the structure is very simple. You write down the exercise and you write how many reps you do per set. And in the past, this has gotten a little bit murky, especially when things are a little more open-ended. It's like, okay, I get 10 pull-ups, and then I got like maybe 8 pull-ups, but then the numbers kind of get a little wonky, like 7, and then 4, and then maybe 3, and it's very inconsistent from one workout to the next. But when it comes to double tap training, you got your name, and you got 2 numbers, one for each set. You got 10 pull-ups, and then you got 8 pull-ups. And then it's real easy to figure out, well, how do I make progress? Simple backfilling strategy that I talk about in grind style calisthenics, where if your 2 numbers are not the same, because if you put a good amount of effort into that first set, second set's not going to be the same number of repetitions. So 10 reps and then 8 or 7 repetitions. So then moving forward is real easy. You do 10 repetitions, and then whatever energy you have left as you're getting stronger spills over in, and that increases until you get those numbers to be the same again. Real quick and easy way to record and assess what you need to do. And double tap training also works with what I call a freeze strategy to your training. Freeze strategy is where you're working on making progress, not just with more repetitions or lifting more weight, but instead working on the proficiency and the quality of your techniques. So what I've been doing with my clients is they'll have like 10 pull-ups and then they'll get 10. But if I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, but they weren't really the prettiest of repetitions. The range of motion was getting short, or the technique was getting kind of sloppy. What I'll do is I'll write 10, 10, F. And that F stands for freeze, like don't change anything. Usually if I see 2 numbers, that means add resistance or add repetitions. But instead with the F, I know that's a note to myself in the next workout, don't change it. And instead I'll write down below like bigger range of motion in the last few reps, or focus on keeping a stricter technique or whatever. So once again, I've got a real quick and easy reference on how to keep making progress with that exercise. And that way I don't feel like I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are we supposed to do in order to have a productive workout, rather than just throwing a lot of work at the wall and hoping something just magically sticks. So basically, double tap training has been a fantastic experience for myself and for my clients to make the workouts a lot easier, a lot more focused, a lot more efficient and effective. And they just feel so much better. Recovery is better, focus is better, technique is better. Everybody's making much faster progress, and it doesn't feel like it's beating them up nearly as much. So again, I put links down below to how this program works in the earlier videos in the description, as well as to my adaptive training log, which is the simple, easy way to log things without having to leaf through endless sheets and or spreadsheets with filling in boxes every workout. But hopefully, if you're trying this out, you're having a great time. Love to hear your thoughts on what your experiences in the comments section. Best of luck in your workouts this week. Be fit and live free.